Hi guys, welcome to another episode of On the Block. Promise you there's a very important guest here today with us. You've heard of QuakerOats, you've heard of different type of oats, but I'm sure you haven't heard of DigiOats, a particular platform that helps combining OTC liquidation and education for Bitcoin across various states and countries in Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm joined here today with the one and only the famous DigiOats host CEO, yes, Heritage Falodun. Heritage is nice to meet you. It's nice
Nice
to meet you.
meeting you, Mr. Paul.
Yes, thank you so much for even having this opportunity with me. Like I'm saying, here at Blocc and on the Block, we are going around sharing the stories of African founders and people who have taken it upon themselves to propagate the adoption of Bitcoin across Africa. And one company, one person that has done that is DigiOats by Heritage. So I've said Heritage two times now. So I want him to introduce himself. Tell us your name, obviously, and tell us how you got into the Bitcoin industry.
Wow, thank you, Paul. I mean, this is a very great question to all the listeners and audience. I'm Heritage Falodun, the CEO and co-founder of DigiOats, a platform focused on Bitcoin education, adoption, consultancy, and also B2B services for corporate businesses. I think it's of utmost importance for our people to get acquainted with Bitcoin, and my journey entering into Bitcoin was not as smooth as it is for others. I mean, it was more like a try and error, and a guy who is more of a computer savvy guy
Okay,
getting scammed on the cryptocurrency landscape, and then
okay,
this scam situation indulged my curiosity to learn more, and then I stumbled on a lot of chains, and then I discovered Bitcoin through Black Bitcoin billionaires Lama
okay,
Wasin.
okay.
And on discovering Bitcoin, I believe Africans deserve knowledge and information. Information is power. Then we created DGO to bridge the information gap between African and the West, giving them access to Bitcoin infrastructures, not only for users alone, but also for businesses and agencies who are willing to like understand the intricacy of the innovation itself.
Sorry to interrupt your video, but I have a question for you. Do you think it's possible to retire a millionaire? Are you an employee looking to invest in Bitcoin with long-term confidence? Then let me gist you about BitPension. BitPension is a place to buy Bitcoin regularly with 100% full reserves and self-custody for employees. Start investing with Bitcoin for long term with as low as $100 per month. Visit bitpension.io to learn more about Bitcoin now. Don't say I haven't done anything for you. Oh. Now you can go back to the video. Imagine talking about using someone's own personal experience to start something as great as DGOs, because I'm sure you're not the only person that was scammed in the early hours of
Exactly,
Bitcoin.
exactly.
Even I that I'm here, I've fallen into some traps concerning Bitcoin. But one man's story or one man's poison is another man's meat, and you've been able to take a bad experience, a negative one, and turn it into something great. And I think that's part of one of the many stories I am trying to share using um, on the blog. So he mentioned DigiOats, and you said you have used it in so many ways as a bridge between those trying to learn here in the African aspect and those in the Western world. And I want you to actually take this time and actually tell us what exactly DigiOats is about. How does DigiOats operate, and the many facets or places that you guys dabble into.
Okay. It's more like segmented into four sectors.
Okay,
We train, we consult,
okay,
we also do B2B trading,
okay.
and then we do community programs.
Wow.
Um,
So you trade, you consult, you do B2B, and then community programs.
yes,
Nice.
we train, we consult, we do B2B and community program. So under the training, we have partnerships with Bitcoin focused companies that are leveraging open source Bitcoin education development
Yeah.
structure. We are the second light node in Nigeria, and what we do there is we onboard people into Bitcoin, not just them understanding Bitcoin as just like a medium of payment alone. They should interface with it as a technology
Oh,
and know the
nice.
intricacy of what it actually offers. So with the training, it's free. It's more like a community giving back project to
Yes,
the
yes,
people,
CSR
and
project.
the consultancy aspect is where we tend to like integrate infrastructure with corporate businesses, with agencies. The last interview we did and seminars was with Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation, NDIC. So we are trying to like let agency understand why they need to transition into this technology and what it actually means in the financial system. So we also do B2B trading for corporate businesses. We advise them on the right importing and exporting rate and how they can
Wow.
leverage Bitcoin for such
Wow.
solutions.
I actually did not know that about DigiOats. I just thought
Exactly.
you guys were just like going around and teaching people about Bitcoin. And
I
to think
mean, going around and teaching people is also part
it's
of the
just,
it's also part of
there's so
it.
many
But then
parts to going around and teaching people about Bitcoin. You could do the community route, gather people and you teach them. You can actually do the business route. If more you teach business and bring them on board the Bitcoin standard. Wow,
exactly.
that's I mean, it actually leads me to my next question because how long have you guys been doing DigiOats now?
DigiOats is about 3.5 years now. I mean, just we can say 4 years because we transitioned from being a just a random exchange like Ego Exchange
Okay.
to then bringing updates like DigiOats, training, community
And everything,
programs,
yeah.
and B2B. So since we started DigiOats, it's been about 3 years now.
Wow. So in 3 years, I'm sure DigiOats has seen a lot of
Impacts.
impact, a lot of stories. Is there any particular story that comes to mind? Maybe something that's happened sometime and you're like, it's because of DigiOats that this person was able to do this, or are there any stories like that that you are
Yeah,
willing
a
to
lot
share?
of stories like that. I mean, when it comes to creating impact, it's something I'm very, very bullish about. We've been to almost every region in the country, Nigeria, and we've been to some African countries like Tanzania. I think because of DigiOats, there are folks who were in Tanzania, like traveled from Nigeria and had issues with payment infrastructures. We have connections with some firms that are more like a subset of our business, and then we link them up. They were able to make easy transactions in Tanzania through
Nice.
some products that are more like affiliate with us. And then I think another opportunity was during our meetups. We have students going through our meetups and graduating, becoming product owner and also scaling themselves in
Nice.
the ecosystem. Our previous co-founder, the person of Mashebinu Benjamin, is also a product of DigiOats that's now working with Bo Bitcoin, a Canadian Bitcoin company.
Nice.
So those are just like a few of our impacts we've done. Community projects in imparting students and a lot of folks
Wow.
across different countries.
Why didn't I even join DigiOs when I started? So, like, who knows? Maybe I myself would have been an impact story of myself too. But I mean,
Also,
it's so amazing that we are able to share that story with you guys, our audience. In case you haven't noticed, Heritage is someone you must know in the Africa Bitcoin space, and being able to share a story at this particular moment, I'm so honored. Thank you so much for joining us. Just outline it again. Remember, if you know you want to learn about Bitcoin, you want to build your community, you have a community you want to teach, DigiOts is always there for you. You have a business you want to bring on board, DigiOts is always there for you. They provide liquidity for large companies, and so I'm not a large company yet, so I don't think I'll be using you guys early soon. But who knows? Maybe Blocc might become something really great, and we want to do that. And at the same time, too, if you're going into a new country and you want to preach the gospel of Bitcoin to that new country, I believe DigiOts is somebody you'll be able to work with. This is Heritage. Heritage is on Twitter, right?
yes, yes,
Harry
yes.
the Eagle
I mean, I'm always saying I'm Mary Digo on all social
on
media
all social media
platforms. I
platforms.
think I'm active on Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Others, not yet.
Not yet, he'll be there very soon, but he's always there, Harry the Eagle. And so before we leave and end this conversation, Harry the Eagle, I would like for you to give a word of advice because I'm sure somebody must have been scammed before. Somebody must have been in your position. I'm sure there are many people in this current position now who do not know anything about Bitcoin, who are willing to start, who are willing to take it a step further, who are willing to hopefully build a product like you have. So, are there any advice you have for them?
My advice is definitely going to go to our listeners and specifically Africans, Nigerians, Ghanaians, and folks in our region. I'm just going to say, try as much as possible to spread the gospel of decentralization. Tell people if Bitcoin is expensive, buy Satoshis. And one thing about spreading the gospel of decentralization is the more people adopt Bitcoin, the more opportunity it opens and the more it skyrockets adoption. Bitcoin education, it's for everyone. And I feel everyone will get to understand Bitcoin at the time they deserve it. But we need to take our responsibility to like orange pill people and bring them on board to experience self-sovereignty. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it from
Wow,
me.
it's almost like you found it.
I'm Heritage. Thank you.
Where you just deliver that was awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard this all from Heritage Falodun, and I feel you should take your time, find out about them, learn about them, and before you know it, things will turn out the way we all want it to be. Once again, it's another episode of On the Block with Paul. I can't wait to see you all next time. Have a good day. Bye.